ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining me for today, Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. In studio with me today is Minister with Responsibility for Climate Action, Constituency, Empowerment and Environment, the Honorable Dr. Joel Clark, as well as Permanent Secretary in that ministry, Mrs. Colencia Levine. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me on the program today. And we will be speaking on the upcoming plastic ban and all things surrounding the environment. So let's get right into the conversation in terms of what inspired the ministry to take on this challenge of the plastic ban. Beginning with you, of course, Dr. Clark.
Good evening, Mr. Cornelius, and thank you. Good morning. And thank you so much for having the ministry and for I think this is the second time we've been on talking about plastics.
Yes.
Right. And I transparently, the decision to ban single-use plastics preceded our leadership of the Ministry of Environment. Former Minister of Environment, Mr. Evelyn, was the minister who really spearheaded the start of this, and we have to acknowledge the work that he did. So we started in 2021 with the wide-scale consultation about the ban. But this is a regional commitment that we have signed on to, and St. Kitts and Nevis is the last, I think, of just probably 2 or 3 countries that has not done so. We have over almost every other CARICOM and OECS country has banned single-use plastics. And we recognize outside of the regional agreement, environmental agreement, for St. Kitts and Nevis, if we need to address waste, we have to start not just with recycling and upcycling and reusing, but we have to start at the source, and that's banning the importation of single-use plastics, which are becoming problematic for the planet and for our bodies.
What has the collaboration been like with stakeholders from your time becoming minister up until now?
Right, so for the past 2.5 years, it's been consultation, a seriously consultative process. The next consultation is for the 25th.
Yes, that's correct.
Right, the 25th of March, and we're going to be there. We invited over 39 stakeholders to come and sit and talk. We've been working very closely with the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Our technical team has had engagements, meetings, consultation within government with the Bureau of Standards, small businesses, the Ministry of Finance, Customs and Excise, and with the retailers, who are pretty much, I would say, 90% on board, 99% on board. Of course, we always have 1 or 2 kinks to work out, but we have been talking and engaging and adjusting. What we can't adjust, however, is the date. It has to come.
If I could add, when you examine the lifespan of plastics, from the start to its death, it affects people, and at every point along the lifespan, something negative is happening. Unintentionally, I don't think the makers of plastic, try to harm the environment, but the making of plastics is very fossil fuel intensive. And then when they're breaking down and they end up in the oceans, they're harmful to marine life. And in turn, when we eat fish, the microplastics that are now absorbed in their body are harmful. So in addition to what the minister said, it had that health factor, and in an attempt to preserve our lives and our environment, we needed to do something about it. In addition, the stakeholders are ready. Kittitians are very aware of what's going on in the world. We are a very traveled and cultured population, and when we travel, we recognize that you can't use bags, the plastic bags. So Kittitians know that we are behind, and they have been wanting and urging us and encouraging us. But as Minister said, the date is the date, but they have been ready, and that is something that we enjoyed as a ministry embarking on the ban, the fact that the population was ready. The consultation that Minister mentioned is happening at NEMA. And so even if you didn't get an invite, you are welcomed to be a part of the conversation.
You spoke about the fact that when you travel, you go into, let's say, supermarkets, business places, they're now using reusable bags. So you're not seeing any, we call them t-shirt bags. So you're not seeing those bags anymore. How did the ministry balance environmental goals with the economic impact on businesses that once are relying on the t-shirt bags?
Let's both answer that.
Okay, sure.
But I'll start with if you go to Barbados, Antigua, St. Lucia, Grenada, you're not getting a plastic bag. If you do, it's a biodegradable plastic bag that's based on a standard set by the Bureau of Standards. And you have to pay for that bag. You go to Walmart, H&M, any store, you have to pay for your plastic bag. And so it's not a culture shock. What is difficult is the transition, because plastic bags are, well, Pierce, I'll let you talk about the cost, difference in the cost. Let's say this amount of cents versus a suitable alternative. The good thing here for us is we're not insisting on what the suitable alternative is. There are many alternatives, and Pierce can give the details on that. We're also saying to our stakeholders that for now, the behavioral change and the partnership that we want with your patrons is bring your own bag. You don't have to buy a bag from anyone. Bring your own reusable bag. So the cost is not absorbed by the person selling the item, but by the person who wants to purchase from you. They have to bring their own bags. Naturally, if you're doing a business, you're going to want to have options available. The government cannot tell you to sell and what price to sell. You have to determine as a retailer what you're going to sell.
It's funny when we talk about behavioral change and being a part of the push, because we also are experiencing the change. When I travel, I have a set carry-on bag and a set suitcase, and I have my reusable bags in, like, they're there forever, because when I travel, I'm not buying any more bags because I already bought my reusable bag. And whenever I travel and I go into the store and I realize, I forgot the bag, it's like the most devastating feeling. And so in my travel things, you will find reusable bags tucked everywhere. When I'm in St. Kitts now, I'm in the store and I'm just holding all my things in my hand because I left the bag in my car. So that need for behavioral change and us as a federation insisting is what's missing. Because I know that I do what I ought not to, and so we really have to tighten up on that. And it's a cultural transition, and again, because the stakeholders are ready, it's just for the government now to do our part as the parent and put the scaffold in place. I don't think it's as much of a culture shock as we anticipated, which is good. With regards to the economic impact, you would be surprised to know that the persons in St. Kitts who manufacture plastic bags are ready. They have been transitioning. The supermarkets, when we reached out to them, they pointed out to us, we don't charge for the bags. When you come to the grocery store and you pack your goods, we give you the bag. And so again, the culture shock that we anticipate is not the reality, which is why coming on the radio and talking with the people directly is so important, because misinformation is there. So Kittitians are ready. The economic the persons who will be affected are ready, and we have been approached by persons looking to start new businesses to fill that gap. Again, it is just for us as a government to provide that scaffold for a population who wants this, and we commend the people of St. Kitts because this is the direction of the world, and we don't want, and Nevis, and we don't want to be left behind.
And you made mention earlier, Dr. Clark, of the alternatives. Please, Levina, could we
yes,
do that?
We cotton bags are a good go-to. Hemp, jute, paper, calico. Do not question me on the calico. They have polyurethane woven bags, recycled PET, and low-density polyurethane bags are all alternatives you can reach out and grab for your alternative. And again, one of the things that I have done personally is when I travel and I shop and I get my cute bags, Bath and Body Works, H&M, Walmart, I bring them home. I stuff them in my suitcase and I bring them home. And I'm looking forward to that time where St. Kitts has, the bags that people can, the branded bags that we can also reuse. I do have some businesses that I patronize who have their bags, but so as to not forget anyone, I don't want to mention any names, but that's an alternative as well.
Awesome.
And just to add on the startup businesses, so there are persons who want to establish the manufacturing, the plants or factories for making the biodegradable plates and cutlery, cups. There are persons who are going into the canvas bags and designing them. So it becomes not just an item that is used for your supermarket shopping, but it's a branded item that you can take everywhere. So the spin-offs are there. Persons are willing. The transition is happening. We just need persons to understand that everything is step by step by step. We're doing this together, holding each other's hand.
Awesome. Sure, go ahead.
And if I could add, and not because she's here with me and she's my boss, but whenever Dr. Clark is doing something, you don't expect the norm. It's always going to be something that pushes the envelope or is a chance for evolution. And even though it's called a ban and people have these negative connotations for it, it's an opportunity for all this economic boom that she just mentioned. And it's important for people to see it not as a ban negative, but as this opportunity for massive economic and entrepreneurial advancement. And we want people to engage the ban in that way. And think of the ministry in that way. Whenever you see Honorable Dr. Clark show up, no, it's a game changer coming your way.
I wanted to quickly add public awareness and education in terms of going out into the community or the schools. What role has the ministry played in educating people about the plastic bag?
Should I tell them that you just checked the sign-in book for Saturday and confirm that Mrs. Morton was here yesterday?
Yes.
Which is, I don't know any other way to inform and educate the public than to be on ZAZ Radio. If it's here, it's live and it's true.
Yes.
And it's truthful. So that's one. But as I said, we have an entire communications and education unit in the ministry. And this runs across sustainable development and environment, and it's to get the messaging out, which is something that we really didn't do too well. So we have been talking to people. Our officers have been in the schools. We have our SDG champion,
Captain SDG,
who has been everywhere. And I think for the past 2 years, I have been saying to persons, and not just me, all of us, that we need to ban single-use plastics. We need to be more environmentally conscious. Importantly, we have not done it alone. The media has been on board with us. They're our greatest partners right now. We have been working very closely with the Republic of China on Taiwan, solid waste management. St. Kitts and Nevis solid waste management and recycling program has been a huge hit, and its success was directly linked to the participation of every single student on both islands, collecting these plastic bottles, amplifying our messages, and proving to the nation that if we deal with things one at a time. So we started with the plastic bottles, we're now on a single-use plastic t-shirt bag, then we're going to go to plastic straws and cups, and we're doing this together. And there are some major stakeholders like St. Kitts Marriott who 3-4 years ago already stopped using plastic bags.
Yes.
St. Kittish and Hill, Park Hyatt, they are using glass bottles, paper boxes, and biodegradable options, because what we're doing here is not just about brand identity here, but your connection to a global brand and sustainable tourism. Our biggest partner is the Ministry of Tourism. Every July, single plastic-free July.
The motorcade.
The motorcade where they collect bottles. I mean, it's been a wholesome approach to it. Everyone has participated, and the education is there when people don't know. In the supermarket yesterday, I was in Value Mart and Polly Manchester. You know Polly Manchester?
Yes, I do.
Who doesn't know Polly Manchester? And she said, just remind me of something. So she asked me about a particular item, and we had a full conversation about, so we're going to do this now, and this is an option, and she gave me some ideas. Let's tell the supermarkets, if you have excess plastic bags, give them to the people, because they were free to begin with. We could use them. What's banned is them distributing it to us, but not necessarily us having a plastic bag to use for our garbage disposal, etc.
So to add, we have what we call our roadmap. And we have been in Nevis ensuring that the education happens there. We've been, as Minister mentioned, with the Bureau of Standards, and we've had several public awareness campaigns, including the radio, social media, television. I'm not sure if you guys saw our Valentine promotion where we're breaking up with plastics, and we have an entire school roster. We've also been engaged in the Department of Justice and Legal, who has also been a major partner towards education, as well as the UNESCO MAB, the Man and the Biosphere Association, to get that word out. And the Man and the Biosphere actually has like its own inner network of plastic-free education. And our Facebook page, the department has a Facebook page, and the information continues to be updated. We have a roster of school visits. It starts with the children, and if I could share, just yesterday when I took my personal recyclables from home to the drop-off in Buckley's, my son asked me, "Mommy, aren't you going to throw away the bags too?" And I said, that's on the 31st. It's not today, but the information is out there. And Minister also mentioned the phased, taking it step by step. And the next step is going to be styrofoam food containers, then plastic straws, then styrofoam egg crates. We have others, but those are in the next batch.
I too have been seeing the change or the transition taking place, especially with the local restaurants. They're now serving in like for takeaway those
the plastic.
They call them those cardboard boxes.
And
Very
you get your
cute
soup in a little plastic, and I use them over
they
and
work
over
well.
and over and over.
They work
Just
well.
eat your food quick. If you get I'll get a metal straw, but we have to adapt. And it's not, as I said, it's not just the regional and international obligation. It's for our survival.
Absolutely.
Minister, you want to plug CISA right there?
Right here.
Sure. So looking at the Sustainable Island State Agenda, how does this ban fit into that framework?
Okay, good. So this framework, PS and I, our continued conversation, continual conversation is how do we make it real? Now, people might think that when we say sustainable island state, that the government has something to offer you and say, here, this is a sustainable island state. No. It's everything that we're doing, and this is a key accomplishment under Pillar 6, which is the circular economy. For us to move from a linear economy, a linear use of produce and resources, which is you buy, you consume, you dispose. That's it. It's at solid waste landfill, there's no value. To circular, where you buy, you use, you reuse, you upcycle, you make it into something else, and there in that phase of upcycling and reusing, there is an economic benefit. And then you use again. For us to get there, we had to do something like banning single-use plastic. So this becomes one of our first tangible acts towards a sustainable island state, and it's linked to 3-4 different SDGs. Taste can pull them up.
Yes.
And we have to recognize that sustainability, environmental stewardship, and our survival needs actionables, need things to happen, but we need the legislation. And we need a policy framework, and that's where Sustainable Island State comes into play.
And I'm so happy to piggyback on this moment, and my response here is like a personal breakthrough moment as well. When you spoke about you noticing the change and going to the restaurants, I want to say that is CISA. The Sustainable Island State, shout out to our consultant, Professor Donovan Campbell and Ms. Sharon Rattan, who have helped me give this response, along with the minister, and as she said, our continuous conversation and the whole CISA team. CISA is a guide. It is a map for the people towards our sustainability. And the fact that you can sit here and say, unrelated to this conversation, that you are seeing it for yourself and you can experience it, that is CISA. Hashtag Denala CISA is now. CISA is me. Yeah, right? That is it. And the Federation is moving towards a thrust where SDGs are our focus. And this ban directly affects SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, SDG 13, climate action, SDG 14, life below water, and SDG 15, life on land.
So comprehensive.
So we're looking at, as it relates to the Sustainable Island State Agenda, we understand, of course, global warming, the climate is changing, and so we have to continue to adapt to those changes. What is the long-term vision in terms of environmental sustainability for St. Kitts and Nevis?
Oh, it's a wonderful big question, but I love it. I'm really happy for it. Having been asked several times, Minister, what's your vision? And I've said to the peers that my vision is very simple. Climate resilience and environmental protection, sustainability has to become a bread and butter issue for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I don't want to be the minister who is here saying, save our planet, while people suffer and people are hungry or people can't pay their bills and live in a hurricane-resistant home, or telling people, ban plastics, and then in the summer, a Category 5 hurricane, God forbid, and God keep us all safe, blows off your roof and you can't respond. It makes absolutely no sense, and the disconnect that we've had for quite some time is climate change and resilience seems like some far-fetched, abstract, global goal, whereas survival for Kittitians and Nevisians seems like every day, like, we struggling and you're telling us take care of plastics. Miss, who are you? Like, go by. Don't want that.
Yes.
But to make it real, we had to present to persons a vision of sustainability. So I'm very grateful that our Prime Minister has been our champion from day one. He said, I want St. Kitts and Nevis to become a sustainable island state. Run with it. Big task, but we have bright minds working here, in not only in the cabinet, in the ministry, and of course with our regional and international partnerships. Make sustainability real to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and that's why we're looking at every single thing. Are you using single-use plastic bags? Are you turning the lights off? Can every woman go into her small business, flick the switch, and doesn't have to pay a bill because her business is solar powered? Can churches be resilient and be safe spaces with solar powered roofs or solar PV on their roofs because they are a sanctuary during a hurricane? Do we have food security so people can eat and go in the backyard and pick a mango and drink tea bush without having to? Can we farm? Do we have enough eggs in St. Kitts and Nevis so we don't have to worry about the avian flu that's happening? Sustainability has to be your life. Can we turn our taps on and have water? Can we transition to electric vehicles? But is TDC and Hosfords and all of the automotive places ready for the transition? Life, people's bread and butter, and people feeling good. I mean, I could go more granular, like, can we eat things like Mansi Port again because we're protecting our biodiversity, but that's what it is.
Go ahead.
And for me, when I am asked what does the future look like for me, my simple answer, which is not as elaborate as the minister's, is sustainability is my guys, my son, my husband, and my dad. That's what sustainability and the future looks like for me, where the best and most prosperous outcomes for my guys. That's what it looks like.
Awesome. As we begin to wrap up the conversation, how can everyday citizens play a role in supporting this push for a greener future?
All right, I love this question. So, shout out to that guy Jeff, who emails us every single week. Jeff Gide. Every single week about the deplorable conditions on the Kim Collins Highway. Can you imagine that Kim Collins is a national hero? And every week there is some business that finds it, especially before our cruise ships come in, so you know that this is deliberate, finds it upon themselves to go drive with their garbage and just throw it along the Kim Collins Highway. It has to be a conspiracy, and every week Jeff emails us and says, you're not doing anything. And yeah, we send parks and beaches out. It's not their mandate to clean. There is absolutely no government institution that covers the Kim Collins Highway. But somebody goes and they throw down boxes of chicken fat and chicken skin for wild dogs to eat and tear up the garbage, and it always happens before major cruisers come in. It's deliberate and it's willful. No, everyday Kittishan, me, you and everybody, you need to take some responsibility for your waste. For solid waste, our motto is waste matters. Man, if you use a KFC box, throw it in a garbage. Yesterday we went walking up on, one of those back roads which paved to nowhere, roundabout ending. You know what you're gonna see there. And my friend said to me, maybe we should put a big mirror and say, we are watching you. I'm like, maybe, because why when you come here to a lookout to do whatever you need to do at a lookout, you have to leave your napkin, you have to leave your condom wrappers, you have to leave your KFC boxes, your juice boxes. Like, nobody needs to know that you were here. And not because it's not a regularly traveled space means you dump your garbage. Why when you're driving along the main road you're throwing your garbage out? Every time Parks and Beaches cuts a green space, y'all check it out, garbage can done. It doesn't make sense. It means that we don't care. And for the life of me, I'm getting very passionate about this. Why are persons who are paid to dispose of garbage by businesses driving the trucks and the pickups to Independence Square and dumping the garbage there? How is it normal? That's a place that should be, not because it was just the place where we then became enslaved here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but hold it with some respect. Don't dump your garbage everywhere. Like that's the smallest thing that we can do as Kittitians and Nevisian. Mind your waste. Mind your waste.
I like that. Mind your waste. Mrs. Devonne, anything you'd like to add?
Can I? I think Minister said it all. I cannot add. She has said it all.
If there's one thing that you want listeners to take away from this conversation, what would it be? Well, I've taken away my new ways.
Two things. One, waste is our responsibility. It's not someone else's. And with regards to the ban, which is a part of the waste conversation, pick a side. Whose side are you on? If you're on your side, the ban is for you. If you're on our side, if you're on the government side, if you're on the opposition side, this is in your interest. Pick a side.
Awesome. Minister Clark?
I must say thank you to all our partners. Firstly, to the Republic of China and Taiwan. We wouldn't be here without them. They're our greatest friends, and they have gotten us to this point. To all our diplomatic partners globally who have helped us, and this is the government of Canada, etc., etc. They have been there for St. Kitts and Nevis, the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, CARICOM. Everybody has been here rooting us on. To the government, to the cabinet, and even to the Parliament and Minister Evelyn for the work that he did, the trailblazing, and I'm just here finishing the job, and they're still supporting him. To Minister Brand and Nevis, Spencer Brand, who has been a partner, an ally, the Premier, everyone. To our Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Drew, who said sustainable island state, we have to do it. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Tourism, everybody. To the ordinary folk, St. Kitts and Nevis, the schools,
Ministry
the teachers,
of Finance.
The Ministry of Finance, who has been here with us. Like, this is how you do it. Like, we are causing them some challenges, but they are still there supporting us. And of course, to the staff of the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Environment, Climate Action, Constituency Empowerment, Solid Waste, and Parks and Beaches for being there for us, and the special staff at our secretariat. It has been 2.5 hard years of work and commitment. I'm very grateful, and I want to thank the people of St. Kitts and Nevis for staying with us and for looking forward to our 31st March commitment to ban single-use plastic bags. And I'm going to take it back Everybody just needs to mind your waste.
Awesome. That was Minister of Climate Action, Constituency Empowerment and Environment, the Honorable Dr. Joya Clark, as well as the Permanent Secretary in that ministry, Mrs. Colencia Levine, speaking on the upcoming plastic ban. You've been listening to The Edge for Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. Until next time, you guys stay safe. I'll be back to finish out the program. Stay tuned.